Hello and welcome to Alliances month for this June Neos. And normally we play old school in Neos, but this month is a special month where we also added Alliances. Alliances is an old expansion, I guess. Its date back to 1996 with total of 199 cards balanced through the blue, black and 31 cards each. And except if you compare it to Homelands and Fallen Empires were quite underwhelming sets. Alliances was a quite strong set, and that's what we're gonna have a look at this intro. Because you can use all the Alliances cards as 4-offs except from this one, Force of Will. Force of Will is it's a pitch card and part of every color got their own pitch cards, like Pyrokinesis and for red, and Bounty of the Hound for green, and so on. But Force of Will was a game breaker, so we decided to limit it to one card only. And I think that's a really good choice, because you don't want it to end up like other formats. And okay, except from Force of Will, what are the most significant cards in Alliances? Well, we're gonna have a look at them now. Felagriff certainly isn't, even though it's fun in Commander. Here we go. The land cycle were quite actually astonishing, I would say. And they made great changes. Flowing Glaciers, for example. A tutor card is almost like a land tax. It's very for slow decks, but it dominated standard at this time at least. And the other land card that's quite good here is Shelter Outpost, that made a deck after it, Counterpost. And Lake of the Dead was a niche card, but it was played in the Necro decks, but I don't think it has survived very well. So let's move away from the lands. Here we have another one of those pitch cards, Contention. I guess some people play it. But the best cards in Alliances aren't the black ones, but the blue or the red. Here, for example, we have Arcane Denial, a counter spell that makes you draw cards as well, even though it's a delayed effect. Could be useful. We have Browse for the combo players, and we certainly have the Library of Natnam. That's also a quite good blue card. I think it was Latland's Legacy, not the Library, that I was talking about. This because it's a 5-mana card, and Latland Legacy is a 2-mana card that could play as an instant. Suffocation, I would say, is a niche card. So we won't go through all the cards here, but just the cards that makes a great impact. The Dimension Bounty of the Hunt and the Elvish Spirit Guide, I guess they could do something, but they haven't really shown the best side in this Neos. So we will move down to the red cards. Here we have the Pyrokinesis. That's one of the pitch cards. You can pitch a red card to deal 4 damage as an instant. That's quite good actually. And the Guerrilla Tactics. The Guerrilla Tactics are quite strong in Atlantic, because before this you only had like Psychic Purge, and Atlantic plays with Fallen Empires, so Guerrilla Tactics is a quite good foil to all those Hymn to Torash decks. Here we have another strong card. This was actually the Chase Rare during this time, Baduvian Horde. It's like a 5/5, so it's strong as a Jussan, but you have a picture card as well. It hasn't survived very well, so I think it's like a dollar card now. But in this league, it made an impact. And here is 2 other cards that made an impact. Pillages and Burnout. Quite good counter for blue spells. Even though it doesn't deal any damage, it's draw more cards and counter. And I don't know if we have to look at the red cards so much here. They have their own decks, Ivory Gargoyle, for example, but I don't think they are good enough in an old school environment. Maybe in standard. So, but finally we find cards that do have quite a big impact. Limber's Vault is a very good tutor and a combo enabler, as you can tutor instantly. That's not very normal to do that. Even today's standard, you normally tutor for in a sorcery speed. But here you tutor and you look at the top 5 cards, and if you're not satisfied with them, you just pay a life and then goes on to the process all over again. And here you see Lord of the Treasure Home. With Scryings, that's a quite good card. Without Scryings, I don't think it's going to be played. So I think this is enough of the introduction. So let's move on to the decks of the players. Let us have a look at the deck list. This is Luke Tucker. He's a Californian-based player, and he chose to go with black, red, white control. That's not really a deck in old school. I mean, it's under a radar, I would say. But with alliances, it adds a lot of factors that makes it really good, I would say. This deck works almost like the deck. As you can see, it has Yadam Tomes. It has lots of control elements like Social Plowshares and of course Disenchants. But it also has Hymn to Torash. Hymn to Torash is quite a divider in old school Magic because of what it does to the format. Even so that the Swedish community chose to ban Fallen Empire altogether. Well, on the back of Hymn to Torash, I would say. Well, we're not talking more about Fallen Empires here. Let's go to alliances and what that set has added to this deck. As you can see, he has 2 Pillages. That's actually a quite a versatile card, and it's good versus the library, who tends to dominate, and it's good versus a lot of weak mana bases. And it can also double up as an artifact removal, of course, so it's versatile. And talking about artifact removal, we have the Gorilla Shamans. That's really an all-star. I talked to Tucker before the matches, and he really liked Gorilla Shamans, and they served him quite well during this tournament. Except from that, he has Feast of Famine. Yeah, he wasn't very happy about that. And Pyrotechnics in the sideboard and Burnout in the sideboard. Burnout is quite nice versus all these blue, like Sonic Blast and counter spells and stuff. He was actually, I think he was 6-0 before this match. And as you can see, he's quite controlling route. And he also played 1 Yusam. That's quite an odd choices here. And a more normal choice is the Sarah Angel to finish the games faster. Yeah, I think let's have a look at his opponent today. And his opponent today is Mats Fury, who is on counter burn. And as you can see from the deck list, he's using Arcane Denial as an alliances card. And it's a counter that also draw cards. And a lot of people forget that you can actually counter your own muxes to actually draw 3 cards. So it's like a mini ancestral. Except for that, he's playing Mux Monkey, and he's also playing Pillish, as you saw Luke is handling. And I think that's about it from alliances. His deck altogether was, I would say, an all-star from this June Neos. A lot of people choose to play this version. Well, not maybe exactly this version, but the version of Counter Burn. And some choose to splash the black as well for the all-star, Demonic Tutor, and the Mind Twist. I think this deck has served him quite well. He's 6-1 going into this match. And yeah, I don't think it's trying to ride on Serendip's and Flying Man. And if he can't ride them to victory, he has Burn to have some reach. Also, in this matchup, I think you should focus on cards like Time Twister, Wheel of Fortune, and Brain Geyser, because they are quite important to recover from Hymn to Taurus. And speaking of Hymn to Taurus, obviously we have a one-off card that's quite good versus Hymn to Taurus, and I don't know if you can see it in the middle here, but it deals 4 damage to any target if it's discarded, or 2 damage. So it's a better version of the Psychic Purge we have in normal old school. That's only really targets Sun Alliance, and it's not really main deckable. But here you have a card that's can exchange for Chain Lightning because it's instant. And we're gonna talk more about the sideboard after the first match. I don't know if it's much to say. It's the standard cards: red blast, blue blasts. But the Blood Moon is quite important here. It's has won me a lot of matches, and just to have the Blood Moon, because you have to remember it's open sideboards for the top 16, so everyone has to respect the sideboard, the Blood Moon in the sideboard. That is. Yeah, I think I've done enough talking, so let's jump onto the matches. Yes, it's Luke on the left and Mats on the right. And Luke starts with a Gorilla Shaman, and Mats is following it up with a Library. It's a quite good start. And I guess the Shaman starts to attack because he hasn't had any Moxes to eat on, and Mats draws a card from the Library. Okay, I would say this is quite advantageous starts for match with the Library. It tends to take over matches. Okay, so he finishes off the Shaman and draws with the Library. So now the coast is clear to play Moxes, I guess, without the monkey eating them away. And I think that's just what Matt's gonna do. He's just contemplating how to finishing his turn here. Yes, it's a Mox and a Soul Ring. And Luke is playing another Pillage, or a Pillage I would say, to finish off the Library. Okay, so the Library might not decide this match after all. Back to match, and how will he respond to this onslaught? I guess he has a factory on his own. I think that's a Autumn Factory. And a Serendip and a Mox, and as I told you in the video before, a Blood Moon. That is a really killer here, because it has all duels and no Moxes. So this will be hard to come back from Luke's side. Okay, he's starting the battle with playing Mox. I guess you can see the life total down below, even though it's mirror reversed. Okay, a demonic tutor here. Even he has a quite an advantage already, and the demonic tutor might seal the deal here. You actually don't have any blue mana though, because of the blood moon. So I can tell you that much, as he's tutoring for the island. And Luke is recording from his desktop camera, so the hand in the mirror is quite big. Okay, I guess the blood moon is getting dirty. And okay, another flying man. Luke is responding with a set troll. That's a small set troll, a 2/2, but I guess it can still regenerate. But I think Mats has a firm grip over this. Takes down Luke to just 13 lives and adds on another flying man. So no bottles, I hope. And yeah, the central attacks because he can't block any flyers anyhow. And okay, I guess he adds a book to that, and that's a quite nice border extended Jaden tome. But is it enough here? I doubt it. He attacks for 5, puts down to Luke to 8. And this looks like an uphill battle. Okay, he draws 1 extra card and swings with the set roll. Taking Mats down to, I think it's 12. Okay, Sonic Blast to finish him off. That was a quite fast match, as it wasn't the library took over, it was actually the Blood Moon. So we'll have to go to sideboarding for the second match, and here can you see what the people or what the players actually have sideboarded. If we started with Luke on the left, it's quite hard to actually see some of the cards, but he removed Feast of Famine, and he also removed 1 Hymn to Taurus and 1 Sarah Angel, and a couple of Mox Monkeys, a Wheel of Fortune, a Lightning Bolt, and a Pillage. The Wheel of Fortune, he argued that, well, you don't want to fill up your opponent when you're a control deck. So, but more importantly, what has he added? He has added Circle of Protection Red, obviously, and a Mace, and Protectionist, and Burnout. Burnout is pretty good to counter all those counter spells and Sonic Blasts, and obviously the 3 red blasts to finish it off. So he comes quite prepared here with 9 cards to sideboard in. So let us have a look at Matt's sideboarding decisions at this game. And he tries to sideboard out the Arcane Denials and the Pillages and the Chain Lightnings, expecting the red copper red. And well, some might say it's controversial to sideboard in some of these cards because Pillages might stay instead of the Energy Reflux, because he only plays a couple of Yadam Tomes and a few Moxes. So that choices might have been wrong here. But otherwise, the Blue Blast and especially the Blood Moon is like an all-star here, because he only has 1 single plane to deal with it, or the Moxes, of course. As for the control magic, they might not be the best cards here. It's quite clunky. 4 mana card, and that gets removed from the red blast. So, well, yeah, I think that's it. What is to say about the sideboard? It's quite hard to say who's actually favored here. I would say it's maybe Mats is a little bit favored, 60-40 something, or 50-50. Well, I won't spoil anything, so let's move over to the second match. In the second match, Luke is starting. Mats was starting the first match because of higher seeding, but here Luke lost, so he starts. And I guess he gets a better start this time, starting off with a Circular Rotation red. And this is mana burn, so he thinks he takes mana burn, but he doesn't here because he can pump into the cop red. And I have a little bit of a discussion here before Mats takes his turn, and start with a volcanic, not the library starts as the last time. So this match might goes on a little bit longer. Okay, Luke doesn't have a follow-up. So he's stuck on one land, but okay, can still work though. Mats doesn't seem to have much of a follow-up up either here. He just attacking with a flying man. Okay, so Luke find his city, but he doesn't do anything. Okay, there we go. Another flying man, 18-20, quite a slow start actually. Sorry for that interruption. Okay, so he doesn't take it. He plows the flying man. So Mats go down to 21-19 then. And it doesn't seem like he has a follow-up. Well, oh, sorry man, he has a follow-up. It's an Energiflux. Okay, this will be quite hard for Luke because he's quite short on mana. So he chooses to drop the Mux and keep the Soul Ring. He might have the disenchant here, but we haven't seen it so far. Okay, there we go. And there is the disenchant responding to Mats strip mining his city away. Okay, but Mats doesn't do much. Just a Sonic Blast in the head. So 14-17. But okay, he's still on one land though. So that could be hard to recover from. Still, Mats doesn't apply any pressure though. So maybe he can ride out. He draws a plateau. Okay, another Sonic Blast. Could be some reach from here. Oh, he has the burnout. So it's not only that he counters a spell, he actually gets to draw another card in his next upkeeps. So that's a quite good comeback trick. There we go. That was the end phase, so it's Mats' turn. And okay, another city. And he doesn't seem to have any creatures. So he's just passing the turn again, 14-17. Okay, still Luke has almost a full grip, but no creatures. So Mats is Sonic Blasting again. Again met with a counter, a Red Blast. Okay, a Wheel of Fortune. I guess both players equally would like that Wheel of Fortune actually. Mats was on one card and Luke, as you saw, was on 4 cards that he couldn't play. Mats have quite a lot of mana advantages here though. So maybe he will take some advantage of that Wheel of Fortune first here. Okay, he took back the Mox, I guess, the Sapphire, and okay, it's sort of in the tank here. Play both Moxes again. There we go. He drew a Blood Moon. So maybe you should strip mine that plane instead. And a Flying Man. Okay, a Lotus. It's interesting what Luke does with the Lotus here. He crashes for Hunt Torash. And I guess Match has 3 cards. So, okay, he's 2 lands. And what else is Luke gonna do with that black mana? He's contemplating here. Still life advantage formats and mana advantage, so he has to come up with something here. I played this enchants, okay, on the Blood Moon, and another circle, and channeling, okay, and okay, and a bolt, and he ends up his hand from 8 to 2 cards. That's quite a good turn though. Mats is doing nothing. Okay, so we have a little bit of a standoff here. They have like 1 or 2 cards each, but Mats has the Flying Man. Okay, he attacks with the factory, meets a bolt. The life total is still fairly high for both players actually. The Flying Man could be quite annoying. As you can see here, it deals quite a lot of damage. Even though it might not be game breaker. Okay, there we go. He has a pillage. Pillaging away the factory. Still the only survivor is the Flying Man. Okay, and a surrender. Has he kept some removal for that surrender, perhaps? Oh yeah, a Red Blast. And 2 cards in hand for each player. So it's 10-17. And another Blood Moon. Luke only has 1 plane. And he doesn't seem to have the answer here. Or does he? Yeah, he has the answer. So he's opening up his mana here. And he's channeling the rest of the mana into the... No, he plays a Demonic Tutor. That could be interesting. What does he tutor for? Well, could be a lot of things, because he has all the mana he wants, even though it's going to cost him some lives to use it. I think he's contemplating his option here. And he doesn't play any blue power though, as you can see. So normally you choose like him to Torash, but I don't know if it's the best card in this situation. Or I guess Mind Twist. Here we'll see. A balance. That's okay. Balance away match 2 last cards. That was a Bolt and a Control Magic, and the Flying Man, of course. So 0 cards and equal amount of lands. So much top decks. Add Demonic Tutor. As you can see, the life total is on 17-8. So I can tell you this much: Matt should have tutor for a Brain Geyser here, but he doesn't. So what does the tutor for instead, you think? a Serendib. A Serendib is quite nice too, but I mean he has also plowshares and he has options to remove it. So if you just got for the Brain Geyser, I think there will be a smoother ride here, because he's quite a high life as well. But I guess the Brain Geyser does the job here. So he's down to 2 lives. So if he doesn't draw, no, you can see a second plane. So